It feels good to be back here. This is KD Drummond of Blogging the Boys, here to bring you the recap from the Dallas Cowboys' 19-14 victory on the road against the Carolina Panthers. And when I say it feels good to be here, I'm not speaking about in my man cave on my couch. I'm talking about in the win column, because it's actually almost been a full calendar month since the Dallas Cowboys have been in the winning side of things after a victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Cowboys Stadium earlier in the season. We had the loss to Chicago, then a bye week, and then the loss to Baltimore, and things got pretty thin on the Dallas Cowboys bandwagon. To the point that even though that Dallas did look good in a lot of facets of this game, the Twitter account for Blogging the Boys, at Blogging the Boys by the way, give us a follow, it was actually inundated with people that were pretty much being negative through the entire game. That's pretty much where the Cowboys fan base is at this point on a nationwide level, is that a lot of folks aren't really happy with what the team has been doing, and this game didn't do much to persuade them in the opposite direction. For me, however, who doesn't believe in moral victories, I also believe a win is a win, and I'm very happy that the Cowboys escaped with a 19-14 victory. We saw some good things today. First and foremost, we saw the return of Anthony Spencer, who was brilliant on defense for the Cowboys. His addition back into the lineup meant a great deal for the defenders, such as DeMarcus Ware and the defensive line, and the secondary as well. We saw a return of some of the press coverage that we had seen earlier on the season that had kind of disappeared. We also saw Josh Brent up the middle. He was fantastic. There was an early play where he caused pressure on Cam Newton that resulted in the end of a Carolina Panther drive at the hands of Morris Claiborne's interception in the end zone. It was the Cowboys' first interception by a defensive back the entire season. The other interception had been from Sean Lee, and of course, obviously, he was an inside linebacker. Speaking of Lee, he had another tremendous game, at least in the first half, before he was knocked out with a toe injury. He had a great pass deflection on one play where he broke up what would have been a sure first down. He made his usual plays in the run game. He had a tackle for a loss. But this time he was joined by other Cowboys defenders, and that was really the key to today's game. Late in the game, we saw Spencer, who I was just talking about. He returned and got the crucial sack on Cam Newton to seal the game in the 19-14 victory when Carolina was trying to do a go-ahead game-winning touchdown drive, which had absolutely no hope of going down in that fashion. Carolina made a lot of mistakes for the game. Dallas did get a couple big plays out of the referees for once in their life after the rest missed. 50-50 chance on a defensive pass interference on a Des Bryant drop in the end zone that would have been a touchdown. They kind of returned the favor. They missed a Morris Claiborne interference call that would have given Carolina a first down on a fourth down pass. And then as Dallas was trying to drive down the clock, they also called for a horse collar James Anderson, even though he did what we call a yoke tackle on Philip Tanner. He put his hand on that man's neck and just yoked him down to the ground. And, luckily for Dallas, they called the horse collar. We took the extra 15 yards and the subsequent first down, which allowed us to run more time off the clock before Dan Bailey hit his fourth field goal of the game. And that pretty much wraps up what you're looking for. Romo escaped. He had an interception that was dropped by the Panthers, but other than that, he played a solid game. There was a lot of dink and dunk in this game. Jason Garrett, he played a little soft in his play calling, a little careful. There was a drive down the end of the game where he called a run draw instead of trying to get a touchdown that would have effectively put the Cowboys in a position where they couldn't lose, or at least a much better position than what they were in. But overall, you have to be satisfied with the Cowboys' effort of this game as they move back to 500. Now we have a rough game. First place New York Giants come to town next week. They're sitting at 5-2. Cowboys will try to get the sweep for the first time since 2007. And then we also go to Atlanta and at Philly. So we really needed to be 500 at this point in order to have any chance for the season with these tough games coming up. But for now, we're happy in Cowboys Nation. We salute the team. This is KD Drummond of Blogging the Boys. Make sure you follow us, SBN, Blogging the Boys, here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, or SB Nation.